Hello, it is Sumner the Pie Guy here with various spreadsheet and TWOW statistic updates. Also, after my announcements, I'm going to have a little form I want you to fill out for suggestions to the spreadsheet. So please bear with me as I ramble a bit. Recently, in terms of mentions, many TWOWers have been switching ranks. In fact, Tak Ajnin now has a challenger for the most relevant TWOWer. SpicyMan33. Before 14B, Tak had a clear 10 mention advantage above everyone else. However, this soon changed, as Spicy is now a mere 3 mentions away from Tak's total of 43, and is on track to steal the title of most relevant TWOWer from him. Not only has Tak began to slip in mentions, he has also begun to fall in normalized ranks as well. Before 1215B, Tak was a top TWOWer in terms of average normalized ranks, even if eliminated contestants are factored in. However, due to his less than stellar performance in 1215B, Tak has fallen below both Isaac Castro and Mr. Jakester, 2 contestants who did not respond to the 12-3 prompt in time. That being said, Joseph Howard has suddenly appeared second. Beep! That being said, Joseph Howard has rocketed up the normalized ranks leaderboard, above both Spicy and Ping Pong Cup Shots, mainly due to his stellar performances recently. That's enough statistics for now. Please go fill out the form, link in the description, and suggest something for my sheet. Shout out to Savai for the first legitimate submission, and I'm going to implement this very soon. If I like your suggestion, it might become one of the sheets that are amassed on my spreadsheet. Thank you for bearing with my ramblings, and please enjoy the episode.
Thanks for that news report, Sumner the Pie Guy. Links are in the description. Previously on 10 Words of Wisdom, Greentree and Corby King still need to rank, and Tak Ajnin and Mike Ramsey haven't ranked well enough to be guaranteed safety. Only 2 of the 4 TWOWers I just named will survive onward. So this is 1216B Part 2. Let's check the fan out really quickly so we can get back to the results. Either Greentree or Mike Ramsey will be leaving us, depending on whether Greentree beats Mike's score of 47.74%. Let's see it. Greentree beat Mike Ramsey. Goodbye, Mike Ramsey. In your time on TWOW, you definitely added a bit of craziness into the community, and your customized book is undoubtedly one of the best. I think it's funny that despite Nihao Gailan stating that he was looking forward to your demise after you piggybacked on him in TWOW 6, you actually lasted 5 more episodes. Well, Gailan, you can finally have the last laugh, because our daredevil baby has finally died from SIDS, Sudden Infant Death Syndrome. Mike Ramsey also had this to say: "This is my eulogy for the video. Some nerd crunched some numbers and found out with averages or some mathematical sorcery that I have a near impossible chance of surviving. I leave all my belongings to Joseph. I had a pretty good run, and it was a good time, and honestly, I was just glad Carrie started making videos again. For the record, if I had ever won the double response prize, I would have made one of the responses the recipe ingredients for vanilla ice cream, and it would have been really cool, and everyone would have high-fived, and trays of assorted snacks would be passed all around. I wish everyone good luck, but when you wish everyone good luck, then it's kind of like wishing no one good luck. 1 inch away from being one of the top 10, what the heck, man, I want a refund. I am Mike Ramsey, and I am not smarter than a 5th grader. Also, here's some fan art of the elimination. Let's just throw some other fan art into the mix as well." Now, although you narrowly escaped the book shredder by less than 1% just now, Greentree, you're still not guaranteed safe for this episode. Corby King still has to place, and whichever one of the 2 of you gets a lower score will be the 481st book to fall into the shredder. Corby King said, "Arrest, chromatic cretin. Egregiously empty falsehoods highlight my rampant superiority." Which is pretty cool because all the words are in alphabetical order, but it also doesn't quite sound like something you'd hear in an everyday conversation. So, Corby King, did you beat Greentree's score of 48.70%, or are you the next to go? Let's find out. Congratulations, Green Tree! You are our last member to join the final 10! Farewell, Corby King. It looks like the efficiency curse strikes once again, taking yet another innocent life. It's really too bad too, because I can tell you spent a lot of work on this response. Alas, while you got 12th place 3 times since 1213, this time will be the last. Your top hat added a bit of composure into an otherwise chaotic, confusing world. Will we ever get to see what's really hiding underneath that hat? Probably not. Goodbye. Also, Mike Ramsey now moves up to 11th place. By the way, the background music right now is DemiPixel's second variation of Cry Song, which is called Experiment. Do you want to see Orange Carry and Yellow Carry actually arguing over who's smarter now?
Okay, I have an IQ of U plus 22, boo-boo.
But we haven't started yet, so let's start from the bottom of the TWOW leaderboard and go up towards the top. Orange Me, you can start, because then I win with the final response.
Yeah, sure. Arrest, chromatic cretin. Egregiously empty falsehoods highlight my rampant superiority.
Only a dummy would be the color of Donald Trump.
I have no earthly idea what you're trying to say.
Pettiness is unoppressive, but I guess your ego would be compensation.
I'm so smart, I just know you'll respond in 10 words.
But your debating skills are obviously inferior, proving you're unintelligent.
Do you speak to your mother like that? How rude!
You intelligent? You thought 1213 responses were perfectly spelled.
You're talking nonsense. Have you understood anything I've been saying?
Hey, speak your mind more. That way, you'd always be speechless.
At least I don't sound like a BFDI ripoff character.
You're only insulting me because you fear my superior intellect.
Boy, that was original. You come up with that yourself?
Perhaps you should consider your own image before insulting me. Mic drop. So here's a 1216 results summary.
Wait, why don't I get any more lines?
SpicyMan33 won this time, meaning he's now the 4th TWOWer to get 2 victories. Also, Joseph Howard, if you snuck in there and secretly won 1215.5, we'd have this cool repeating pattern that suggests Yusoan might win next. The winning percentile also went down again, to 58.37%. As I said earlier, Consistency Master Crafty7 actually had the second most controversial response. I think because voters were divided between those who remember what 1213 was even about and those who didn't. As expected, only Mr. Tweester's Donald Trump response was more controversial. And yes, Green Tree's beautifully symmetrical lump of a voter rating distribution was the least controversial. So, Orange Carry and Yellow Carry were equally likely to start speaking first in the voting pages. Also, all responses were equally likely to appear in a yellow or an orange bubble. So, if you voters voted purely on the quality of responses, then the average scores of all Yellow Carry responses and Orange Carry responses should be pretty close to 50%. In actuality, Yellow Carry got an average score of 51.64%, while Orange Carry got a score of 48.36%. You might say that's just due to random chance, but with 702 voters, i.e. 7,020 choices on responses, that disparity is 2.74 standard deviations off, which means there's almost certainly some actual voter bias against Orange Carry. And Orange Carry probably would like to have a word with you. Orange Carry, what's your word? Here's how each TWOWer placed at each letter position of the voting page. Spot B was by far the best position to be in, much better than the very beginning. And the end was also nice. However, PPCS did not get a huge boost like I thought he would. In general, the further down you were placed, the lower score you got, which I think is true over all TWOW episodes. But remember, each response gets placed in every position multiple times in different voting screens, so it all averages out at the end. But perhaps there's something more significant than what letter position a response was in. Of course, I'm talking about which response came before yours. How well did each response do in responding to each of the other responses? We need a 2-dimensional chart for this, and I've got one right here. Pretty cool, right? Every 2-response combination got between 19 and 129 votes. The number 1 pairing was Arrest, Chromatic Cretin. Egregiously empty falsehoods highlight my rampant superiority. Followed by, I have no earthly idea what you're trying to say. Which makes sense. Interestingly, this number 1 pairing came from the lowest 2 scoring TWOWers of this episode, Mike Ramsey and Corby King, and a score of 77% is like TWOW 1 or 2 level high. The boxes outlined in red are the highest scoring combos of each column. In other words, if you hear an entry, look it up at the top, find the highlighted box below it, and that row is the best suited follow-up response you could say to it. Despite placing 7th, Crafty7 Hoi Hoi's response is the best suited to respond to 3 different responses, those by Midnight Light, Tak Ajnan, and Joseph Howard. It was even the best starting entry, although the starting entry overall is a difficult position to take, and perhaps as expected, the lowest scoring combination was the first response followed by the last response, with voters thinking it was better than only 17% of other combos. Despite getting the last safe spot, Green Tree had the hardest to respond to entry, with the best responder, Midnight Light, only getting a 59% off of him. On the other hand, Corby Kings was the easiest to respond to. And then Michael made an even better visualization of this data, and it's on a poster now, I think. You can now see the connections between 2 responses in this chord diagram.
Hey, I'm Michael, I'm Carrie's brother. I'm gonna tell you something I've been working on the past week. It's a poster for TWOW 16. It shows how well each submission did in response to another one. So Mike Ramsey, for example, didn't do so well, but really well after Corby King absolutely demolished Corby. You can get one of these on Redbubble. The description has the link. And out of respect for the people whose work we're using in this poster, we've set the commission to 0%, so we make no money for this, and that also means that you get the best deal you can. Here is a shirt, cool shirt with just the design, no text. We've got a lot of stuff with that sort of thing. We've got phone cases, tablet cases, we've got chiffons, hoodies. I don't recommend this t-shirt. We've got tank tops and dresses. We've also got mugs. I think these mugs are pretty cool, they're pretty snazzy. We've got bags and notebooks, so please, I hope you like this design. It is a good deal for you, and I think it is a lot of fun, thank you.
So in conclusion, TWOW data is some of the coolest stuff in this super galactic cluster. Let's move on to the predictions of who will win TWOW. Our frontrunner Tak Ajnan hasn't been quite on his game for the last few episodes, so his chance of winning TWOW is now only 20%, just 3 percentage points above the quickly rising Joseph Howard. Will Tak have to give up his spot on the throne soon? Perhaps. Also, Green Tree is clearly our new efficiency champion. Not only did he get the last safe spot this time, his chances of winning TWOW is a full order of magnitude behind the next TWOWer up, the Mighty Midge. But then again, Green Tree is a god, and he avoided the back-to-back sacrilege, so maybe his divine powers can overpower the seemingly undefeatable efficiency curse. Hold on, look at this column, the chance for getting into the top 10. Everybody's chance is 100%, what gives?
That's because they're already in the top 10, you bossy brain bozo bot.
Oh, you're right. For now, let's replace that column with the slightly more informative top 5 list. Also, this animation of the normal distribution curves moving is for Crafty7, so I hope you're happy. Remember that I'm measuring normalized ranks now, not pure scores. Here are a few more miscellaneous statistics. To summarize, here's who's still in and who's eliminated. If you're eliminated, you won't be able to send me any more responses for upcoming TWOW Season 1 prompts. So yes, this is TWOW's final 10. Crafty7, Green Tree, Joseph Howard, Mr. Twister, Midnight Light, Ping Pong Cup Shots, Spicyman33, Tak Ajnan, The Mighty Midge, and Yesoen. Do you remember when I first did TWOW predictions in TWOW 11A 6 episodes ago? Let's see how accurate my predictions were. I thought these 10 TWOWers were the most likely ones to get into the top 10. Of those 10, only 4 did it, not so great. But hey, I predicted pretty darn well for the top 5 at least. Green Tree has defied the harshest odds by snatching that minuscule 4.12% and making it happen. Let's rewind time even further. At the beginning of TWOW, I was originally going to accept only the first 10 applicants as the TWOW contestants, just to keep TWOW lightweight. As you know, that didn't happen. But now, you can think of TWOW episodes 1 through 16 as just the weeding out process to the real TWOW, which begins now and features these 10 TWOW celebrities. So, what's the 17th, first, prompt of TWOW? Well, remember, the top 12 TWOWers voted on which previous prompt to do again. 3 of them actually didn't vote, including the 2 who were eliminated this time. But which prompts did the other 9 TWOWers choose? Let's start from the worst voted prompts and work our way up. The worst prompt was 16 with a score of 30%. This isn't quite true because it was actually against the rules to vote for 16, but 4 TWOWers did. So I decided to include it, but that means the 5 TWOWers who did follow the rules didn't include 16, bringing down its score. Going up the ladder, we get prompts 15, the actual worst, and then 11, 3, 1, 14, 4, 12, 7, 6, 2, 5, and 13. Before we move on, I just want to point out, I know I'm supposed to keep votes private, but Ping Pong Cup Shots, did you seriously just vote the prompts you got number 1 on first? That's pretty funny, but I guess it is allowed after all. Anyway, the top 3 prompts were surprisingly all consecutive, 8, 9, and 10. Which one beat out the others? Well, there's clearly not much sympathy for the sympathetic prompt, which placed at 64.44%, a distant third. The top prompts, acronyms and parentheses, scored quite close to each other, within 2%. So, will you top 10 TWOWers be optionalizing or acronymizing stuff? It's time to find out! Boom! TWOW's 8th prompt, which was selected first by 5 out of 9 voting TWOWers, wins! Now you know what TWOW 17's prompt is. Choose any word with up to 10 letters. Then, write an acronym for that word describing the word itself. But viewers hate it when things repeat themselves in exactly the same way. We need to add a twist to keep things interesting. Now TWOWers, this is optional. But instead of having the initial letters of your particular word spell out that word, you could try having the last letters of your word spell it out, to tickle the viewer's brains a little. Or if you're feeling super adventurous, perhaps the first letters and the last letters both spell out words. Here's 2 examples. Hut, one use, sleep, everyone safe, can be both houses and teepee. And passengers like attending new extravaganza scenery can be both planes and Segway. This one's pretty hard, so remember, it's optional. And don't hesitate to use fewer than 10 words, like I did here. Do you hear that, voters? I'm officially saying that fewer than 10 words is perfectly okay, just like it always is. So in summary, TWOW 17's prompt is, write a description that spells out the word it's describing with the first letters of each word, or the last letters of each word, or both. I wonder how many TWOWers will fall into each category. Oh, and one more thing. You know how everybody's been saying, once TWOW hits top 10, things will change a lot? Well, that's not exactly true. But one big change is that all 10 of you get to submit 2 responses, and only the better one will count. I just figured, you guys put so many eggs into one basket these days, why not give you 2 baskets? SpicyMan33 and Joseph Howard, I suppose this means your prize no longer gives you an advantage, but you do get the invaluable glory of being great at debating, right? And that should surely be enough. But if you'd like, you can protest in the streets. So you 10 remaining TWOWers can submit your entries to me, CarryKH, by some certain date. The Mighty Midge, I know you're gone until July 23, and I think it would be unfair to eliminate a TWOWer this late in the game over a non-response, so I'll see what we can do to work that out. And for the first time ever, only the single, very lowest placing TWOWer will be eliminated this episode. Because of the universal double response prize, someone could be eliminated with a surprisingly high score. So it's gonna be a tough game. Finally, everything on my agenda is completed. See you in TWOW 17A!